Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come in, come in, come in. This is Tamieka's Den. I am Tamieka. Get on in here, y'all. Get on in here. Kick off your shoes and relax your feet. You are now in the den. So, guys, this is my review overall of this season we got of Reasonable Doubt, y'all. I had to come up here and talk a little bit about Reasonable Doubt. This was not one of the shows I was able to do, an episode by episode recap on. But, honey, I was here for this, okay? I got into it, and let me tell you, this thing had a little bit of crime. It had a little bit of drama. It had a little bit of crazy, okay? Backstabbing, cheating, lying, sneakiness, and betrayals. All the things that we look for in a TV show. Okay, Reasonable Doubt came through and it gave us some things. And I had some predictions, y'all, but my predictions, some was right, some was wrong. They was trying to fool us, all right? Some things that I thought, well, this is too obvious. That's not going to happen. They're going to switch it around some type of way. Yeah, it was a yes and a no to that, okay? But let's go ahead and get into this, Jax is the lawyer, okay? She is the one that's holding down these cases. She is, a very brilliant lawyer, a force to reckon with, fearless defense attorney in Los Angeles, right? But her personal life is complicated, honey. She got all different type of problems going on, all right? She got husband problems, boyfriend problems, security guard problems, ex problems, new problems, okay? Problems with her mama, problems with her friends. So she got a lot going on, but in the courtroom, she is usually pretty good and usually is out here winning all these different types of cases. Now, she finds out about a client that she used to have, being accused of this rape or whatever the case may be. And, she's pretty much like, well, what is the details? Where are we going? What we got on what, right? And they decide or come to this factor that supposedly this girl, Kalisha, who is filing this against this man, Braden, who she worked with his company, she's just mad. She's being bitter, right? They had their share problems or whatever, and they're trying to get her to sign this NDA. One minute she gonna sign it, next minute she not. And she stepping to Jackson telling her, as a black woman, when another black woman says something, you should be believing it. And just when we think that that is bad enough, and Jax is feeling a little bad, and she's not really feeling Braden, right? We meet him, and we kind of saying like, ew, he's out here being a little funky, and you know what I mean? We not liking his vibe. He's coming off like a real a-hole. He's being all snotty and snoopy, and he seems like he could do some freaking devious stuff like this, right? We don't put nothing past him. But he is really like, nah, she's bugging. That never happened. It didn't go down like that. And he says that he's going to handle it on his own. He's going to take care of it. He's going to get all of this fixed, and he's going to get these papers signed. And so, they feel a little funny about this. Like, well, why do he feel like he could go and handle it and get it signed when we can't? Okay, she left here pissed off, saying she ain't signing nothing. But all of a sudden, he's coming back with the NDA like, see, she signed it, so all is well. But then we find out, honey, that Kalisha done got murdered. So this turns into who killed Kalisha, basically. And although Jax in the beginning is saying she's not going to take this case, it's one of her partners in her firm that is supposed to be covering the case. She's like, she don't got nothing to do with it. Her assistant is like, yeah, he trash. We don't trust him. We ain't dealing with it. You shouldn't take it. I don't like him. I think he is, capable of doing it. And she tells the assistant to throw the file out. Honey, her assistant been working with her a long time and knows better, so she still holds on to the file even though she told her that, and just kind of puts it up. And we're getting more of Jack's backstory and home life too, where we see that her and her husband are going through it. They are separated, We also seen in the beginning that somebody, does this kidnapping of Jack. So we are also trying to figure out who could that be, what is going on, and we're seeing that her husband done ordered up this security guard to be there at the house, and the kids are going through it, of course, because they seeing their parents separated and they want them back together, especially the son. He was showing out his daggone behind. And so they're kind of like, well, why can't you just be here with us? Why do we need security, right? Oh, this is just temporary. This is the meantime, whatever have you. And so, you know, Mr. Security is looking at Jackson. Jax is looking at Mr. Security. They kind of feeling each other. He giving her, you know, a Valium when she needed. He giving her a cigarette when she needed. He about to be giving her something else when she needed, okay? And, you know, Lewis and her is kind of back and forth. And I really was trying to understand the dynamic in their relationship. Is like he's there with his kids. You know, he's telling her that she has always been putting work before them. And she's telling him, look, I've been out here making sacrifices that you don't even know, that you can't even comprehend for this family. And, you know, she's saying she ain't going to give up her job and her work and everything that is important to her. So either he going to get on this wagon or he going to get the hell off. You know, they're both saying they don't want a divorce. Every time you turn around, they flirting, they almost there, they about to have sex, but they not gonna have sex because we gonna end up having an argument. You know, it's a constant back and forth with them or whatever, right? But then they're saying that they still love each other and that they don't want to get a divorce. Now, in the meantime, you know, Jax goes from 100% sure, knowing that she's not going to take this case, actually giving Kalisha's cousin some info that could possibly help her, and saying, listen, that's not my client, to all of a sudden coming through and changing her mind, you know, becoming his lawyer on TV, defending him and saying how, you know, they just want to come after a powerful black man. Of course, he owns this company along with his friend that he came out of school with, that he started the company with, Theo, okay, and we don't trust Theo either. Listen, this freaking series got a lot of trash people. Let that be known, okay? Trash, or more trash. And Theo is one of the trash people that's basically trying to paint a certain picture about Kalisha, and at the same time stab Braden in the back and basically trying to take over his company behind him, okay? He cannot be trusted either. And so for whatever reason, Jax goes and has a conversation with him and actually believes him and kind of feels like, okay, well, he's an asshole, yeah, but we cannot say because somebody's an asshole that they are a murderer. I am going to defend him. I am the best, because when he initially met her, he tried to play her as if because she was a woman, she didn't know what she was doing, and like he didn't want her, and she pretty much was like, well, I don't want to be your damn lawyer anyway, so you know what I'm saying, ain't doing me no favors. But they are able to come together and be like, you know what, I respect this way that you come and I respect that way that you go. And he knows that she is a winning attorney, and if she's on the case, that he probably has a better chance of, you know, things working out. And of course his wife didn't know about all this stuff that was going on, so now she gotta know. Now she's pissed off or whatever the case may be, or does she really know, right? Because they presented at first as if she doesn't know. And then you got Kalisha's husband basically saying, you know, they had separated for a minute, but they were getting back together, and he also knew about the situation with Braden as well. Now then comes in, you know, Mr. Damon, aka Michael Ealy. All right, Mr. Light Eyes, always got to be crazy. Michael Ealy gonna Michael Ealy in every daggone movie, and this is no different. And we basically are getting a back and forth, you know, with flashbacks of him and Jax's story, where she got to know him because she was his lawyer, you know, when she first was starting out. And that's actually how she switched from being a prosecutor to a defense attorney, because she didn't really believe in the system anymore, because here she is fighting for this man that's supposed to be an innocent man, and he still got jail time, you know, and she always blames herself for that. And so the only way for him to get out is for him to actually admit to the crime. And when he does admit to it, she's mad about that at first. She's like, oh, how dare you, you know, don't speak to me. She's mad when she sees him show up at her church. She's like, you know, you should have never did that. Stay away. And he's like, well, actually the place that I'm, you know, staying at or whatever that I'm assigned to is across the street from the church. And he's like, what did you want me to do? Stay in jail for the rest of my life? If this is the way that I could get out and this was going to be the only way to do it, I was going to take that chance. I wanted to be able to see, you know, the sky again. I wanted to be able to see the beach again. And she really couldn't say anything, you know what I'm saying, to that. Now, in the meantime, Mr. Security, like I said, was trying to give her whatever he could give her. And they have a night that she go ahead and invite him in the daggone house, honey, to have a little ride, a little rodeo session going on, and her husband is literally watching them through the camera. So I'm like, what is this? Okay, looking like he turned on and smiling at it, but at the same time, you know, and she purposely doing it, knowing that he be filming stuff, you know, filming stuff on camera or have the cameras in the house, right? But right after that, the guy will ends up getting fired from the job. So it was like he watched them, but then he made sure to fire him from the job and to make it hard for him to get any other jobs. So he's steadily trying to get in touch with Jax, and she's not knowing that now. At first, he was giving a little bit of psycho, you know, fatal attraction vibes showing up. You know, when she woke up, he was still there chilling, cooking and stuff, acting like they were supposed to be hanging out. She was like, oh no, it's not that type of party. Okay, it's time for you to go. You ain't got to get the, you know, go home, but you got to get the hell up out of here type of vibes, right? And so initially I was even first and foremost thinking of him as the person that probably kidnapped her, because I'm like, yeah, he's giving those psycho vibes, right? Now, come to find out, though, he was only trying to get in touch with her because he wanted to get some type of reference from her for him to get a job, because he's like, girl, ever since I freaking came and was with you, I'm having nothing but problems. Your husband done shut everything down. So that's what I really didn't understand to a certain degree with Lewis, because you watching her, you knew that this is what she was doing or whatever the case may be, and then you turn around to get the guy fired. That didn't kind of make sense to me, but I'm like, okay. Now, in the meantime, you know, they had to come together for their daughter when she got sick at school. You know, they have these little moments when her mom needs him or, you know, something from him and stuff like that. He'll come through. If she calls him, he'll come through, but they'll still be arguing. And speaking of her mother, Mama, you crazy too, and Mama, you got some trash ways too. I'm sorry to tell you, because when it's all said and done, you know, we kind of get hints of this guy Paul, which is Mama's boyfriend, right? We occasionally hearing about him, but we really not getting nothing direct. But you could tell from Jax's body language and her first response to even hearing his name that it got to be something more going to the story there. And of course, later we find out, yes, we are right, that there was definitely some things that should not have been going on. Some touching, okay? Some him getting in the bed with her, touching her in different instances and all this different stuff. And Mama over here taking him back, talking about some, oh, well, he just, you know, was an alcoholic back in the days. He had bad drinking issues, and that's what it was, and she forgives him, but at the same time blocking Jax from seeing her father. And at one point Jax is like, well, it's really confusing to me how you could forgive Paul but you can't forgive my father. Now at the same time, she don't want to tell her husband about this either. You know, she keeps having all these secrets from him because she's saying that he would get mad and he wouldn't want the kids to go around her mom and, you know, Paul anymore. And so that's part of what she means when she says that she's protecting, you know, the family and doing more for the family than what, you know, he even realizes that she's doing. And her and Damon is over here rekindling, you know, these feelings that they have for each other, because not only was she his lawyer back in the days, but honey, we was getting some feelings going on, okay? We was having phone sex and getting turned on and talking about some, I don't know what you doing to me and all of this. So, you know, slowly but surely they start dating, or he's at least thinking that they're dating. She's getting serious with her, but she's not getting serious with him. And then he kind of pulls back and is mad about that or whatever, right? But because she just wants to have fun and be able to have sex here and there, and he wants a real relationship. And through one of their little sessions they having in the hotel, when he was hitting that spot right, and he was like, you know, are you gonna be mine? She over here talking about yeah. And then when she get up to go to the bathroom and the phone is ringing and it's Will sending her all kind of messages saying it's important, I need to talk to you, know, Mr. Security, he basically deletes all the messages, okay? So that's when we first see this crazy signs, you know, from Damon. And that's when I first said, oh, Michael Ealy, okay, I see you. I should have known you was going to show your behind, okay, sooner or later, because he can never be good for too long. You know, here it is, he's supposed to be this innocent person that went to jail for all these years that didn't deserve to be in jail. You know, he had this parole officer that was coming harassing him. She helped him with that. Then he got this trash ass brother that he's working with. Mind you, this was supposed to be his shop. The brother took over it while he was in jail, you know, this auto shop. And the brother started basically treating him like dirt, dissing him because he want to be with Jax or whatever, and also wanting him to go out here to do these illegal things when he's literally just getting out of jail and still got to take, you know, piss tests and is still on parole. So I'm like, the brother is trash too, okay? Remember I said we got a lot of trash people in here. You know, he over here wanting to give him ultimatums and wanting him to do things that's going to put him right back in jail. And I'm like, really, that's what we going to do? Like, I don't get it. And so in the midst of all of this, you know, Jax is just still trying to figure out what the heck she wants. She trying to go ahead and deal with this case. Every time you turn around, something else is coming out with it. You know, at one point, Brayden's wife gets pissed with him. She's over it. She don't want to be bothered. She actually goes and sleeps with Kalisha's husband. I was trying to figure out what was going to come, you know, of that. Kalisha's husband was saying she had stuff on him. He was getting stuff on her, you know, they tore him apart on the stand, so we didn't even see him come to the court or anything like that anymore. When she goes home, Brayden is basically like, yeah, what have you been up to after she slept with him? And that was pretty much the end of it. So I guess it was just about her getting back at Brayden for sleeping with Kalisha. Now, Brayden is telling Jax this sob story about how he worked for the business, how he started, how his brother got killed, how this guy, you know, pulled out a gun on him, and 2 weeks later he died. And like I said, we still see him start out as the asshole, but later we like, okay, well, maybe he is really just an asshole, but, you know, maybe he didn't take it that far. But that is short-lived, honey, because, you know, one day after freaking court, when Jack stopped by the house and he over here drinking because they had a bad day, and he seen, you know, his so-called friend that's the co-CEO of the company on the news, Theo, just basically selling him out and throwing him under the bus. He actually tries to make a pass at Jax with his wife literally just stepping out the room not even 5 minutes ago. And he over here holding her all tight, and it made her real uncomfortable, and it made her have memories and flashbacks of Paul. And not only did it do that, but it made her step outside and be like, wait, I know who the killer is. So I'm like, oh, you do? Let me know, sis, okay? How the hell did you put 2 and 2 together from that? You know, but it showed that Brayden is somebody that could be capable of something of like this, right? Even if it's just as far as the assault, because he was definitely trying to initiate, you know, a situation with Jax, and has she not literally make him snap the hell out of it, and then he was trying to, you know, apologize for it after the fact or whatever, right? And so we see that Lewis is really going hard with this single parenting. You know, her mama's always every minute, what's going on with the relationship? How y'all doing? You know, Lewis is a good man, child. Okay, she was giving me the mama vibes of Whitney Houston Waiting to Exhale when she's like, he's a good man, Savannah. Okay, that is what Jack's mama was giving me. Lewis could do no wrong. Every time she would have a conversation with Jack, she would make it seem like it's all Jack's fault. Now, I will say, compared to what we were seeing from Lewis, it was kind of Jack's fault. I didn't know which way Jax was going, because Jack's baby was getting it in with Damon here, Damon there, Damon everywhere, okay? To the point that one day, you know, Lewis ends up going up and finding them two over in this little, you know, cafe sipping on some coffee, and that's when he decided that he wanted Zam's divorce. And he had been over here hanging out with, you know, Jack's friend Man, and Jack's friend Man was on the loose, honey, okay? He was getting it in, having threesomes and everything else with her friends, or supposed to be friends. And, you know, one of the girls was telling Lewis that she been wanting to get with him, and he ended up calling her up after the fact. Now, I will say, we wasn't seeing Lewis cheating previous to all of this, okay? We was just seeing Jack, so we don't know if he was doing it all along or if this was his first rodeo. But I said, out of everybody you could pick, really, you pick her? Okay. You know, you was doing a bit much, Lewis, right? And so at this point, he's pissed, and he's feeling like, you know what, we could go ahead and, you know, get this divorce. I don't want to be bothered anymore, right? And then Jax ends up getting a call from her mother that Paul is doing worse. So at this point, they're going back and forth to the hospital to visit with him. But because Jax is getting more memories, and now she's really feeling like, wow, he groomed me. This wasn't a one-time situation where he made a mistake. There were several different times when he would touch me. There were several different times, you know, with him rubbing up against me. It was the time that he climbed in the bed with me. And so now she's really seeing how her past trauma has an effect on her present, and you know, she really wants to go and address him or whatever. And it also gives her the realization inside this case she's working on at the same time too. And so, you know, when Brayden tries to come and apologize to her, she's just like, yeah, whatever. And her girlfriend sit down and have a conversation where she's apparently the only one Jax ever told about these things. And she's like, girl, tell Lewis what's going on. If you tell him this, then he would have such a better understanding. And she lets her know, like, I didn't know all of this was happening. So I had even spoke to Lewis and was telling him, like, Dad, you seem to be making, you know, Jax real happy right now. Everything must be going good with you. And she gonna get an attitude with her girlfriend, and her girlfriend was like, wait, hold up, girl, don't blame this on me. First of all, I don't know what you communicating and saying to him and what you not. That's not my fault, and don't put it on me because you're miserable and you're going through what the hell you're going through. And I was like, you know, she do got a point there. You know, she told her, like, you need to go get some help. You need to work on you and do what you got to do, okay? It's not everybody else's fault but yours, okay? And she go ahead and leave. And so in the meantime, you know, that was her husband was the person that Lewis was hanging out with, that was telling him, like, yo, just get it on, party, do you, get it in, whatever. And Lewis was acting like that wasn't his frame of mind all this time, up until when he seen Jax and Damon over there in that cafe. Then he was like, yo, it's on and popping. So now that he told Jax he want to get divorced, she's looking at it more serious. She's reevaluating things, and she's like, oh, hell no, I'm not about to sit here and lose my marriage, you know what I'm saying, over this situation. So mind you, even before that, she was letting Damon go anyway because, honey, Damon had ends up first. Will showed up at the house, right? He come banging at the door and he's telling her, look, I've been calling you. I've been messaging you. Ain't nobody been answering. You know, your husband done made me lose all my stuff. She apologizes and tells him, okay, I'm so sorry that happened to you. I'm going to give you the reference letter. In the midst of them talking about that, as they establishing that and he leaving, who at the door but Damon, okay? Oh, crazy eyes. And he coming in to kick damn Will behind. I feel sorry for Will. I said, Will, how you letting him beat your behind like that, child? And you supposed to be security, okay? So he get his behind whipped, and she starts yelling at Damon like, what the hell are you doing? Why are you at my house? And he talking about some, I'm your man. She's like, no, you're not, okay? You're not my man, and you don't got the right to run up in my house. So now he's mad about that. And when he tells his brother, like, I'm not going to be working here at the shop no more, he was like, I was doing this for her. I said, how the hell was you doing illegal work for her? I'm confused, Damon. That don't make sense either, you know. His brother basically ends up firing him and was like, get the hell up out of here. I don't want nothing to do with you. You know, Dad left this to me and all of this other kind of stuff. I'm the one that's named after him. He just started taking it to a whole nother place. Of course, that makes Damon, you know, go down even damn deeper and get even more mad, talking about, we family, you just gonna diss me like that? And he's like, yeah. So the next thing you know, of course she does win the case or whatever. They find him not guilty. She's not happy about it though, because now she was able to go into her firm and tell them, like, yeah, I know he killed her. Okay, he did kill Kalisha. That's not even her handwriting. That's on the NDA. And then we get a flashback and we see where Brayden had went there and she pretended that she signed the NDA. She was like, oh, just give it to me. And she did say that he still did take it from her, whatever, that she was saying no and he didn't listen. But she was like, let's do it this time and do it the right way. So he all happy getting in the damn car thinking that everything is sweet. And when he opened up the damn NDA, that thing said a big F-U, all right? And we had also seen that his friend, you know, partner Theo has showed up to the house beforehand too. And so I was like, oh, Theo did it. Wait a minute. Brayden did it? Wait a minute. Because it's like literally the person I thought did it from the beginning, then thought he didn't do it. Let me give him the benefit of the doubt. Actually is the one that did it. And he went back in there, pissed the hell off. and basically cut her with the damn glass and didn't have any regrets or remorse about it, okay? So she knew this, but she still had to basically go on the court and defend him, and he did get off from it, right? And as soon as they was leaving, he was thinking everything was going to be all sweet with his wife, and his wife was like, nah, you could go ahead on that trip on your own. I'm getting a divorce, and I'm going to be coming at the, you know what I'm saying, full custody of the kids and so on and so forth, you know, as far as that goes. So when she's leaving from there, you know, at one point, Braden had even threatened her too and was like, when did you know? And he said, you know how I told you that kid got shot? I'm the one that shot him, okay? So don't play with me. So you got threats from him. You got the situation that happened with Will. But my predictions basically was, as far as the murder, that it was either his wife or his partner. Wasn't. It was his raggedy behind. And then as far as the kidnapping, I said Damon, but like I said, I thought that was too obvious, but it really was Damon. And so we seeing her get kidnapped and everything, and you know, the person had literally crashed into her car, so they basically have the, you know, Lewis has the track on her phone. He's able to find out quick that, you know, the car's there. He's seeing that they saying they're not getting no answer that's not like her. He goes and he sees where the car was crashed at. So he was able to call, you know, the investigators that work with her, and they was able to go to the cops, and they was able to start looking for her. Lewis go ahead and approach Damon, okay, and ask him like, yo, my wife is missing. I'm looking for her. Damon over here talking about, I don't know what to tell you. I don't mess with married, you know what I'm saying, woman. But in the meantime, his behind got Jax right back there with her, and she's like, why the hell are you doing this? This is not you. You know, don't do this. And he's saying, no, it is me. You turned me into this. I gave up my whole life for you, and, you know, all that different kind of stuff. He done turned into a damn psycho now, right? Which makes me wonder, was he ever really innocent of the original crime that he supposedly was supposed to be innocent of? We don't know, right? And you know, Jax had finally faced her mom. She had faced Paul. She had told her mom about everything that Paul did. She says, you know, I know some things you may not have been aware of, but some things you were, and you should have been protecting me. I didn't like how the mama was acting either. Like I said, she was giving me trash. When we found out Paul was trash, that was no surprise. Now we found out Damon was supposed to be originally innocent, but now all of a sudden he turned psycho because of supposedly being rejected by Jackson. I guess also being fired from his brother. So when it all comes down to it, it's like who we thought was trash wasn't trash, turned out to be trash. And the one we knew was trash after all. Like, we literally had, you know, Braden who was trash, Theo who was trash, Damon who was trash, Damon brother who was trash, Mama who was trash, Paul who was trash. I don't know if I'm leaving anybody out, y'all, but it was a bunch of trash, okay? And with having all these trash people, is like it makes more sense as to why Jax ended up the way that she ended up and why she was the way she was. And yes, Jax, I need you to get out the courtroom and get into therapy and get you some help, girl. After going through all this craziness, you need it. But bottom line is Damon ends up basically taking his own self out because he hears the cars and everything coming. You know, Lewis catches on that Damon said he was supposed to have been leaving, but he still haven't came out. And so they do get her out of there. Lewis, of course, is the first one there waiting for her. He goes home with her. He tells her he's going to stay with her. He's going to spend the night with her. He's going to make sure everything is okay. And that's when she wakes up and goes to the court. And then go ahead and deal with the Braden case, sees that he won or whatever. And so since she could not get him in that way where, you know, they ruled not guilty, what she ended up doing is the records that Kalisha had that proved that the company was doing embezzlement and, you know, whatever crooked stuff with their money, okay, she was able to send to Kalisha's cousin, and Kalisha's cousin was able to put that out, and they was, able to go and arrest him for that. And so the next thing you know, she going for this jog. She just trying to relax, release, get into a different space. Her friend calls her up. She's like, girl, can I call you back later? And then we see that homegirl Done killed her husband, baby. Or did she? Her husband is out cold and some blood on the floor, baby. And she's calling up Jax, and Jax is like, oh shit. And that is basically how the last episode ended with this, season finale, y'all. What y'all thought about this Reasonable Doubt? I thought it was cute. I thought it was okay. I'm here for it. I'm interested in seeing what they gonna bring, for season 2. Like I said, it was not, completely predictable. It was some things that was a little predictable. Some things that I was like, really, y'all just kind of threw that in there. Okay, if you want to, we gonna roll with it. But overall, I liked it. It definitely had me going. Y'all tell me what y'all thought about it. Like, comment, share, subscribe if you are so inclined. Give me a wave. Let me know you came by. Put some flames up in the sky. All right, y'all. Till next time.